In The Writing Burrow, The Woman Thing Part 2, Generation of Vipers by Margret Atwood. This was published today, 12/18. There's a picture of Isis and child Horus in ancient Egypt. Quite frankly, I've been paralyzed of late as so many things have been happening. No sooner have I begun to write about one of them, citizen shot in Minneapolis, blind man freed by ice, wanders around in the cold and freezes to death. So, that's not funny. Ukraine breakthrough on the front line. The USA and Israel bomb Iran. Then something else happens and I get distracted. So I'll tackle the woman thing part 2. Women are constant, though how women are supposed to look, act, and think, and how society views them has morphed frequently over time and space. Let me start with a couple of axioms that will probably not be disputed. I say probably because, hey, it's the internet where everything is disputed sooner or later. There's a picture of Venus and Cupid. Axiom number 1. Without women, there would be no babies and thus no people, and we have not yet developed the bottle incubators described in Huxley's Brave New World. Thus, they are not secondary or an afterthought. They are the heart of the matter, meaning humanity, and no, AI can't do that. Axiom number 2. Once upon a time, women were viewed as the miraculous and even divine source of human life. They were honored for this and indeed viewed as heroic, since death in childbirth was quite frequent. In giving birth, women were risking their lives. In view of these axioms, societies have responded in various ways. We can classify these ways as supportive, we value your life-giving superpower and will protect, nourish, and appreciate you for it, or repressive. We must control your life-giving superpower for our own ends. We, not you, will determine which women shall have babies and which not, enforced sterilization centers here, and arranged marriages and eugenics and stonings to death for infidelities. We will also decide which babies will be cherished and which will be strangled at birth, abandoned as fondlings, left to die in jungles, forcibly adopted, stolen, traded as sex toys, starved because their families are poor, or drugged to death by, for instance, the gin and opium administering angel makers of 19th century England. There's no society in which babies have been universally cherished. There's a picture of the Virgin of the Lilies. I don't know how to say that. Bourgeois or something. Bourgeois. Supportive and repressive can, of course, coexist and often have. Girls and women must be safeguarded for their own good, supportive, and thus their freedom must be curtailed, repressive. This was the earlier European pattern for the genteel. Those who slipped the boundaries and got ruined before marriage became that 19th century scary figure, the fallen and therefore scarlet woman, or, if repentant, that favorite 19th century trope, the penitent. Then along came the 20th century, and a lot of that changed. World War I, secretarial jobs, votes for women, lipstick, and goings-on in parked cars. No more penitents, but a lot of fast women and femme fatales and gun moles. See noir films. Then came World War II, jitterbugging and swing, wartime jobs for women, thus Rosie the Riveter and wax and financial independence, a heady brew. We can do it. It's that picture of the woman with the strong arm. There were also wartime romances coupled with and various forms of birth control which didn't always work, giving rise to homes for unwed mothers, backstreet abortions, Irish nuns selling babies, Magdalene laundries, and more, but virtuous motherhood was still an aspiration. After World War II, a great many men who'd had an overdose of adrenaline came back from war, and women were told to move over to make room for the boys, give up their paying jobs and their brains, career women were sterile and cold, have 4 children, and live in 1950s open plan bungalows. Oh, and it was cute to be submissive. There's like a picture if your husband ever finds out. This is funny as fuck. Despite little womanry going on, these domestic arrangements didn't suit a lot of the men. They got used to more sexual freedom. Playboy magazine was started in 1953, no coincidence. Dump the boring, frazzled wife and screaming babies in diapers. Come on down to the Playboy mansion where all is fun and frolic and the girls are really bunnies. Why bunnies? Let's not be crude. There was a popular saying involving copulation and rabbits. And to this, that the 1943 book by Philip Wiley, Generation of Vipers, was running through 20 editions with an update in 1955. You will have never heard of it, no doubt, but I read it as a teenager. I don't even know what that is. So what did this book say? It contained many attacks on various facets of American society, such as its politics and its religions, but the one that stuck in my added adolescent head was the attack on momism. Moms are too powerful. They coddled their children. They taught their sons to worship them, and this produced weak, effete young men. Did he mean gay? Let's guess. Wait a minute. You somehow ought to be the mom in the bungalow making the perfect home and having babies, but it was a far cry from Isis and Horus. You are no longer to be praised and revered for your generative superpowers. You'd be just a housewife, or even worse, a mom, a viper responsible for at least half of the ills in society, being punished for fulfilling your biological destiny, as people became fond of saying. See Freud, who was pretty popular at this time. So you're damned if you did and damned if you didn't. An untenable position over the long run. The year's most controversial bestseller, there's a book, The Feminine Mystique, in 1963. And that, dear reader, gave rise, after the deployment of the pill, to second-wave feminism, in my humble, elderly opinion. What to put below the line for the dear paying subscribers whose contributions help support the Pelee Island Bird Observatory. I think hiding things from the rest of you, so I'll just set a couple of the other women thing topics I'm considering. So these are other things she wants to write about. Important at this moment, women, life, freedom, and what the woman thing has to do with the situation in Iran. Underage pregnant girls corralled by ICE. What's that about? Is it better in Gilead? Basically, for poor women in the USA, yes. Birth rate jitters. Some of these may be combined. Let's find out. There's some comments. We could read the comments, but you could also read them. Anything good? No, not really. I think that's interesting. I remember some of you guys actually came here from the article that was entitled, yes, it's about, everything's about women and sex. So that's why